Hey guys, Leah here. So I just wanted to go live and chat with you guys, kind of just like give you guys updates and like answer questions and stuff, and kind of just like talk because I'm actually really bored. Andy is actually on his way to Wendy's right now. He's going to go get me some food because they finally said that I could eat. So I'm super excited about like eating and whatnot. They did tell me earlier that I could eat after like a whole long period of not being able to eat because they weren't sure what was going on. Like 3 in the morning last night until like 4 in the afternoon today, I wasn't able to eat. So it was like probably like a 13-14 hour span where I didn't eat anything, and that was like really hard and whatnot because they were trying to figure out like the testing and figure out what was going on at that time. So I was able to eat finally, which was nice, and then I took a nap. So I ate like 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I ordered some dinner here from the hospital, and then I took a nap until about 11 o'clock, and then I've been awake now for a tiny bit of time. So they had me hooked up to monitors and everything, obviously just to like monitor baby, make sure that he's okay. I'm actually looking at it right now. I'll flip it around and whatnot. They've got like me hooked up to that and everything. So basically they're just looking at like overnight is what they want to do, is watch me overnight. So they're looking at the baby's heart rate, my oxygen level. They have a band on for like contractions. If I have them, then they'll be able to track them, and just like my blood pressure and everything like that. They have an IV in just in case. But basically over the past 2 days of being in the hospital, I've just like there's been so many things. Like, I never had to have a catheter before, and I don't know, like I had to have that done the first day when I was at WCA, and that was absolutely insane. Like, that sucks. If you ever had one of those done before, it absolutely sucks. I think I was more scared of like the procedure than how scary the procedure actually was. Like, once it actually happened, it wasn't as bad as I thought that it would be. I just was like hyping myself up and like getting scared. Hi. So yeah, it did suck. It like stung and everything, but I'm okay now. Like, I was just the most worried. They were the most worried about an abruption, because what ended up happening is when I went to WCA, they did a sonogram, like an original sonogram, because they tested everything. They're like, it's not amniotic fluid, you're not leaking that. They're like, you don't have a bladder infection, you don't have a yeast infection, you don't have this, that, and I'm like, okay. And they're like, you're not dilating, you're not, your cervix is closed. I'm like, okay, those are all good things. And then the only thing that came back abnormal was they took me for the sonogram, and they're like, it looks like you have, they said, we're not sure, but it looks like you have a placental abruption. And I was like, okay, that doesn't sound good. So they sent me back again for another ultrasound. They repeated it. My thing's beeping. So they sent me back for another ultrasound. They repeated it. And then they came back like a few hours later, and they were like, yeah, it looks like you have a placental abruption, and we want to just go get another opinion, a second opinion, and we're going to send you to Buffalo, which is like an hour and a half away from my town if you're not from around here. And I'm like, okay, like, that's good. And like, you know, they have higher level of care here. Like, they have a high risk team that is really good with high risk situations and pregnancy and stuff like that, and they have like the highest level of NICU at this hospital is what I was told. So that's really good, just in case anything were to be wrong, that they'd be able to take like super good care of me here. So I'm like, okay. So they transferred me. Oh, okay, Shannon, that's okay. Yeah, it's Friday night, so I mean, do you have fun? I'll just be here. But yeah, and so they brought me here by ambulance ride. I was able to like sleep a little bit, and then after I got here, everybody was really attentive. They did the testing all over again, basically. They did like the speculum exam with the swabbing. They put the swab underneath the slide just to make sure that everything was okay, that they like wanted to double, triple, quadruple check that it wasn't amniotic fluid that I was leaking. So they double, triple checked it, and it's not amniotic fluid. They said it's 100% not amniotic fluid. It's just fluid pooling around my cervix, which, like, that might be TMI, but whatever. Like, if you're watching this video, like, you know, no filter, whatever. I don't care. So, yeah. So that was just, like, pooling of liquid, which I'm fine with that. I am totally okay with that. I would rather have, like, random non-infectious liquid than, like, than amniotic fluid or, like, a yeast infection or something. So there's no infections or anything, so that's good. And then I was just waiting on them to do an ultrasound. So they did an ultrasound and with one doctor, and then they brought me over again for another ultrasound with the high-risk doctor. And they did an ultrasound, and that took probably about a half an hour. They were really, really detailed with that one. This thing is beeping so much. I think it's just like the baby moved around off the monitor. He does not like the monitor at all. Little poopy doesn't like to be on the monitor. But so they did that test. Yeah, I know. Yeah, everything's good. Everything is fine. So far, I'm being just monitored overnight. But they did that sonogram test, ultrasound, whatever, really in depth. And like, these are the high risk doctors. These are the people that like know what they're talking about and they know what they're doing. I would say a lot more than just the regular hospital who just sends off their results, you know, and then gets them back from a third party, you know. So I waited for the doctor there. He comes in and he's like, I don't see what they were talking about with an abruption. And he's like, I know what an abruption looks like. He's like, I did not see an abruption. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, thank God. I trust this guy's opinion a lot more than just the basic hospital, you know. Like, the high-risk doctor knows, I would think. But then he did say something. He said, you know, I don't see an abruption. I was like, good. He said, but he's like, ultrasound is only like 25% or like 23% or something, like low percentage of actually detecting them. So he wanted to do like a blood test, which I haven't had that done yet. And they also still want to give me the other dose of the steroid shot to rapidly develop the baby's lungs, just in case for some reason something shows up wrong. But they decided to admit me overnight here in Buffalo just to monitor myself and the baby, and to see if there's any like contractions that happen like overnight. You know, they just want to like really monitor everything over a period of time just to make sure, like 100% certain that they didn't overlook anything or that they didn't miss something. Yeah. And I'm okay with that. Like, I was kind of, like, a little bit bummed. I'm like, damn, you know, like, I want to go home. I'm just, like, I want my bed, you know? Like, I want to hang out. I want to talk to you guys. I want to run my business. I want to, like, play with printable stickers like a dork because that's, like, what I love to do. I want to, like, do live videos and plan YouTube videos. And I want to, like, work my business. But, yeah, so I'm like, obviously baby's more important than that. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to stay here. I'm not going to go home and risk, like, just in case anything were to happen, you know. So I'm like, fine, keep me overnight. I'm like, I'd rather be safe than sorry. I would way rather keep me overnight and nothing be wrong than me to go home and something end up being wrong. And then I'm already, like, back at square one where I have to go to WCA and then I have to come back out here. And then I just want what's best for the baby, you know. I want him to be okay. He's only barely, not even, like, well, now it's midnight. He is 26 weeks and 4 days along, so almost 27 weeks, and that's viable, but too soon, you know, like, he needs to be in there a lot longer. So I'm happy that they're keeping me here, and I will keep you guys updated.